Bonjour, welcome, good morning, and let's begin our Sunday service for today, Sunday, August the 22nd. I was almost going to say October, but it's actually August, and it's much warmer than it is in October, as you've noticed. And let's begin with the first song, which is chosen by our speaker this morning, who is François Lacroix. And he chose something produced and performed by one of our second generation. It's called Moon.
I close my eyes to see what the world would be if we had peace. Night, devouring all the screams, converting into dreams. Finally, sun brighten up our days, even the darker bays, so lighten up. Unending happiness, because Mount Everest is in the air. Shining in the sky, singing by and by, a peaceful sigh, and smile, raising all the hate, changing every fate. It's my love for your environment, feeling enlightenment in every vein. Me standing in the light, and it feels so right, feeling like free, happy sympathy, and full of quality defines our life. We complete a harmony, looking at my balcony, new friendships grow. Vibing in the light of the shining moon, graceful flowers bloom. Oh, stars in the sky, singing unity, song of victory. Shining in the sky, singing by and by, a peaceful sigh, and smile, raising all the hate, changing every fate. That's my mind.
Beautiful. Merci. Thank you, François. Beautiful song. And now I'd like to ask Edgar Bello to open us up with prayer. If you would kindly unmute, and you can pray in English or en français, as you like.
Yeah, please join me in prayer. Beloved Heavenly Father, We are so grateful to get together this morning for our Sunday service here in Montreal. It's a wonderful day also, and so many brothers and sisters also are away in this summer break time, and we want to also think about them and allow them also, the Spirit can be with us in this particular moment. Beloved true parents in heaven, please, we invite you to inspire our day, this sermon, and also to share your sincere heart and blessing with all of us today. I pray for your presence and true parents' presence also, and sincerely in my name, Edgar Bello, parents of the blessed family. I do.
Merci. Thank you, Edgar. And now we'll move to some quick announcements for this coming week. It's a big week coming up. I'll share my screen with you. So after service at between 11:30 and noon, those that would like to, we can gather in the backyard at church for lunch. So bring your chair, bring your lunch, and bring yourself. We may have a special visitor from the United States. You may know Tal Zur. She's in town, and she just called a few minutes ago. She's the executive assistant to Dr. Yang and Reverend Now Kimi in the US. Her daughter will be studying here in Montreal at McGill. So if you'd like to meet her, she will probably show up. I encourage you to come. Also, we will have our next community meeting on September 11th. We won't do on September 4th. We have some event that evening. So I would like to encourage you to participate. And Monday, which is tomorrow, it's between 7 and 8 p.m. We will have the live stream of the anniversary pledge with True Fathers Sangwa. So that's tomorrow night, Monday, between 7 or 8 p.m. We should be getting some information. Those of us that are on a two-way stream, we know already that we have to be there around 7 p.m. But it could start earlier, and sometimes we get late notices. And there are other events happening in the next few days. So please stay tuned, look at your email, and you will get further information. Again, on Tuesday evening at 8, there's the TribeNet and the Fellowship and Testimonies at 10 p.m. for our Canadian-wide family. And there are many meetings, so have a look at your emails. And thank you again for your donations and for your support during this challenging time. Again, I hope to see you this afternoon. We can gather as we've done for the last week or two, and hopefully very soon we can gather inside as well. Okay, so thank you and God bless you. And now we move over to song number 2, which is something that was chosen by François. Over to the, thank you, the song by True Parents.
생각하기엔 너무나도 아쉬운 남아 가슴 태우며 기다리기엔 너무나도 멀어진 그대 같은 마음도 허공 속에 묻어야만 슬픈 옛 이야기 스쳐버린 그날들 잊어야 할 그날들 허공 속에 묻힌 그날들 있는가 하고 생각하기엔 너무나도 미련이 남아 돌아선 마음 달래보기엔 너무나도 멀어진 그대 살쾡 마음도 기다리는 마음도 허공 속에 묻어야만 될 슬픈 옛 이야기 기쁜 옛 이야기 스쳐버린 그 약속 잊어야 할 그 약속 허공 속에 묻힌
Always so heartwarming to see the true parents in their younger years singing together like that. And thank you, François, for sharing that video and for having the interest to discover all these treasures that we have from these earlier periods. I just had a reminder here, please pray for Thérèse Lacroix. You know, she's our blessed couple with Gerard. She's in the hospital since several days and fighting for her life. She is 88 years old, but her mind is still clear, but her body is weak. I ask you humbly to pray for her. And now we have the illustrious François Lacroix, comes to us from Saint Laurent, where he lives. Let's welcome François to the stage. La parole est à toi.
Thank you, Uncle Franco, Dr. Franco. Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is François Lacroix. Thank you. Snow. I was asked to share today, so I would like to share something that's been relevant to my life recently, and hopefully you can also get something out of it, something that's meaningful to you. So just a week ago on Sunday, so just last week on August 13 was my birthday, and I turned 30 years old, the big 3-0. And for some reason, this birthday, I took it more to heart. I thought it was more important. And one thing that kept ringing in my mind almost maybe the later part of the few last months was True Father and his words about turning 30. And when you look up his words about that age of 30 and how important it is before 30, you find not just one, but numerous quotes about that time period. So I'm just going to share one of them here. I have in front of my screen a quote. It says, which period is the most important period for people? It is not during adolescence. The most important period is when we pass through the period of youth to middle age. In other words, the most important period is between the ages of 20 to 40. From the age of 20 until they reach 30, people form the foundation to start functioning as human beings. They also need to lay a foundation in their environment so that they can go forward with a clear goal. So a lot of this was on my mind. Before the age of 30, I needed to establish a strong foundation for my life. And in particular, I wanted to experience something I had never experienced before. I really wanted to, before the age of 30, to have an experience that can really be part of my repertoire of just experiences that are life-changing or that sets who I am as a person and my character. So I was kind of not praying about it, but just thinking about it constantly throughout the year and, telling myself I need to do this before I'm 30. And so what I did to kind of do that, and I didn't know what to do, so I just left it up to God, but I bought a plane ticket to Japan with my family. So this was early August, so like 2 weeks before my birthday. And I thought to myself, okay, I'll be doing a trip to Japan. That we were scheduled to leave July 27 or something. And I thought, maybe experiencing a new environment in Japan and have some experience there would be meaningful for me before I'm 30. But God, Heavenly Parent, had something else in mind. So I would like to share that with you, how Heavenly Parent gave me a beautiful experience before I was 30, kind of like what I asked. Because recently, I don't know if you noticed, this is just a tangent, but I feel Heavenly Parent responds very well right now. I don't know, this may be a time of benefit of the times, merit of the times we're in, but I feel Heavenly Parent is very strongly connected to what we think, what we want to do. And so she manifested himself through my trip to Japan. So what happened, for some of you don't know, I left to Japan from Montreal, in late July 28th. And Air Canada, which I booked the plane ticket through Air Canada, they allowed me to go. So I departed from Montreal with my family, Motoka and my son Denton, and we arrived in France. So the route was Montreal, Paris, then to Tokyo. When we landed in Paris, we had to connect to a flight with Air France to go to Tokyo. But at the airport, the Air France agents denied us boarding. We were not able to continue our way. They denied us because I didn't have the proper visa to get into the country. As you know, Japan and Canada have good relations, and normally I do not need a visa. But because of COVID, there's just a special visa just for right now. And so because I didn't have it, I was denied boarding. But there was a problem because Air France denied me and not Air Canada. So I was stuck, my family and I were stuck at the airport. And we were, literally stuck in the airport. I tried to go out of the border to go into Paris and maybe kind of make a plan in Paris, but they denied us entry to France too. We couldn't even go to France because our COVID test had expired. It's like 72 hours. It's good for 72 hours, and it was literally maybe 82 hours or whatever. So we were stuck in this airport. We couldn't go out, and this was the first time I had ever experienced such a thing. We had become, Motoka and I, refugees. That's how we felt, because we had no plane ticket back home, and Paris did not allow us to come in, and we couldn't fly anywhere. So we were just stuck. And what really made me nervous was if I was alone, I would be totally fine. I think I could figure it out quite easily, but I also had a baby. that because Danton was there, and my wife was also pregnant. She's pregnant. Just surprise if you didn't know. So my wife is pregnant again. So she's pregnant maybe 4 months. So being at the airport, I had to take a lot of responsibility that I'm not used to when I travel alone. And there was a very urgent issue because we hadn't planned to stay at the airport. We didn't have enough milk for Denton, for the baby, and so just to give you a context, so we're at the airport. A ticket back home, it costs like something enormous, like $4,000 just to go from Paris to Montreal. So we needed to wait. We needed to wait at the airport a few days to get a decent ticket back home, because or else it's too expensive just to buy a ticket right there. And besides, I didn't have the money in the credit card. And so we're stuck at the airport, and nighttime comes. I'm talking to different Air France agents, and there's no Air Canada agents at the airport. I would have to go to another terminal, but I was denied entry because I didn't have a ticket. So I'm just with Air France, just trying to figure out how to survive and get back home. So nighttime comes, and yeah, we're in front of the customer service center. It's midnight. It closes, and all we have is just not even it was like a comfortable chair. And so we settle our stuff there. And because we hadn't prepared for this, we only had our carry-on, and we didn't have enough milk for Denton. We only had enough milk for maybe 24 hours. So for me, I was very worried for Denton, to get the right nutritions for him. But I was also worried for a sleeping area. Where is he gonna sleep? I mean, so my wife, we literally scattered around the airport, and we found cardboard boxes in kind of a back area, just like garbage. And so I took the cardboard boxes and put them on the ground near the chairs, and literally whatever I could find soft, I just laid it on the cardboard. My sweater, extra clothes, just to make a little bed for Danton. And that was the first time of my life that I was almost wanted to cry, because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm making a bed out of cardboard for my son. But I didn't allow myself to cry, because I knew I was doing the best I can, and I knew that what I was doing was right. It wasn't wrong. I had no choice. So I made this bed, and that was very moving for me, and to try to do that. And my wife, although she was pregnant, she really acted as if she wasn't almost. She didn't ask for much, and she was okay with just a chair. There was no like long chairs, where we were. So, and yeah, and then so that's how we slept the night. Well, I didn't sleep much, maybe 2-3 hours, to be honest. But then morning came, and then Air France agents came back 5 a.m. and I started talking to them, seeing if I could get my big luggage out of wherever they stored it, so there's milk inside, so I could get the milk powder from my luggage and have enough food for Denton for a while. And I had to really push, because for them, they didn't want to do it. It's a big deal for them to get the luggage out. It's like for them, they told me it takes like 2 hours for just one employee to do that, to go get it and bring it back and all that. And so it was a lot of work, and they didn't want to do it. And the first guy didn't want to do it. So I got upset at him. And so he brought me to his supervisor. And so she told me to wait, and she'll look into it. And all this while, I have Danton on me with a little strap on, so it was kind of funny. And yeah, as time passed by, even the supervisor, she said, she asked me to come see her, and she said, "I'm sorry, we can't get your luggage." And then at that point, also this is a first time experience for me. At that point, when she says we can't really help you get milk formula for your child, I in my mind I just saw there's no other option. Like if it were just me, maybe I could just run through the border and just freaking steal some milk somewhere and run back. But then I would go to jail. Like there was no option. There was no option. So I started to black out, almost about to faint, and like on and off, kind of like slowly blacking out. And then so it was weird, but I was just kind of making weird sounds, I think, and then kind of just like a drunk person just trying to hold on to something. And then the supervisor said, okay, wait. And then she left, and then I took a seat. I literally sat down on the carpet, and then she came back, and then she told me, um, okay, give me some money, and I'll go through the border myself and buy milk formula for you at the pharmacy, which was in the airport. So finally there was a solution. And so yeah, so she did that, and it worked out. I gave her some money, and yeah, it worked out in the end, and we got milk formula for Denton. And yeah, I never experienced that kind of feeling of not being able to provide food for for someone that important and meaningful in my life. It was, and I couldn't think of really much else, really. But because as soon as she gave us the formula, and the milk that we had was gonna last up to 8 hours. So I had a period of 8 hours to really get this done. And so um, once we got this emergency out, then we could really think through how we can get home, and yeah, just get home. So, but the emergency issues, providing for Denton, and also providing food for my wife was really important. And for me, growing as a dad, like I'm a dad, but I'm still growing to become a good dad. And it was so, like, when I talk to maybe someone just really briefly about what happened to me at the France airport, I'm going to share just the external things, and people comment like, "Oh, that's terrible." But for me, it was so meaningful, and I'm happy it happened. I'm really happy it happened for me to feel, almost like, well, what I call it, what God feels about seeing His children um, sleeping on cardboard or whatever outside, or seeing other, like, just people not having enough food. And it allowed me, whoa, sorry, yeah, it just allowed me to feel what God feels about humanity, and how uh important we are to God. And but I'm also a firm believer that God provides, Heavenly Parent provides. So just like at that airport, we came out alive. We really did. And we finally stayed there 2 nights, and we got our plane ticket back home. And every day, honestly, it like, may the first day was the worst, but then every day it got better and better. And in my mind during that time, I was thinking of True Father's words of when when he was in Danbury prison. Why am I? when he was in Danbury prison, I was reading about that, and people would come up to him and share about stuff. You know, in Danbury prison, you're just talking and share about their problems or whatever. And one of the comments from the people talking to Truffaut would always say, you know, things will improve. Things will improve. And that was on my mind the whole time I was at the airport. And slowly but surely, even after a very tough night, tough morning, things were starting to improve. And you know, we've as exploring the airport, we found a better place to sleep. We found better food because at first we only had these distributor machines. Like imagine just distributor machines to feed my pregnant wife, you know. So it was just really tough, but things improved, and we finally we at the end of the 2 days, we finally could call the agent that didn't let us in on boarding, and we could kind of close it off. She really said, yeah, we're really sorry, we can't let you go through, but it was kind of clear for both parties, my family and the Air France. We were clear, okay, we really can't go to Japan. So then we kind of left home back to Montreal more in peace. And yeah, so it was a really long journey, even if it was just a few nights, and it was a very meaningful one for me, to really experience something as a parent that is the reality of what God is feeling as a parent for humanity. So yeah, it really helped me kind of strengthen who I am as a person in society. So a person with in the public sphere, it allows me to better have more compassion for people, a better understanding of who we are. Even if you're adult, we're all children to someone, to Heavenly Parent. And so it just allowed me to really understand the significance of everyone and how we really are cared for by God. And how for me, yeah, it's important for me to kind of take responsibility and take care of my family. So these things I could realize through this trip. Yeah, what else? One more thing I would just like to share is before we left to Japan. So before we got on our flight to Paris and Paris to Tokyo, before we got on the flight, our flight was delayed by 24 hours actually. So in Montreal, we left the condo, we left our home, we went to the airport, and basically 20 minutes before boarding, we were asked to not get on board, and they delayed our flight for 24 hours. So I last minute called Chris Garan, and he brought me to his place. I didn't want to go back home. Like I felt like I left, so I wanted to leave. So I stayed at Chris Garan's house for one night, and with Charles and Kim and Saquon, and so that day we watched the movie The Pianist. I'm sure many of you know The Pianist. It's based on a true story about a Polish man who is a piano player, but is also Jewish. And so when the Germans invaded Poland, he had to run away. And he was a refugee because he escaped the Germans, but he was not wanted where he was. So he had to hide the whole time, and the whole time during the German occupation. And like that movie, it was interesting. I was watching that movie and I was like, why is God showing me this movie of a man who's really struggling to survive, fighting through this wartime period? And, you know, he was struggling for food, just he couldn't find a place to rest in peace. And it kind of almost prepared me mentally for what was about to come through the trip. Because during the trip, I was thinking, okay, just like that guy, and at the end of the movie, he overcomes. You know, we're doing the same. So yeah, it's interesting how things are presented in our life, and And like I'm very happy inviting difficulties, inviting challenges, because I really know Heavenly Parent is with us and supporting us if we are willing to go through the challenge. And so this was one of them, and I'm just happy to share it with you, because I felt many people ask me about my trip to Japan, but I don't really say the truth because it's very hard to just blur it out in a short conversation. So I wanted to take the time today to share it with you. So thank you so much for just listening, and I hope you could get something out of it. Yeah, have a great Sunday, everyone. Thank you. I guess I'll pray. Okay, please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Mom and Dad, true parents of heaven, earth, and mankind, thank you so much for gathering so many family members in this Eastern District. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to share with them and with understanding that we all have challenges and we're all going through things that life presents to us. And I pray I'm really happy to just share about this and kind of bring it to light and bring all back glory to you, Heavenly Mom, Dad. So I pray for everyone, and no matter our challenges, that we can overcome and go through it until the end and overcome. And I pray that we can become people that can really serve your providence in an impactful way while True Mother's alive. So pray for these things according to your will. In our names, offer this prayer, François, Lacroix, as blessed to Lacroix family, as owners of Channel Group, Aju.
Well, thank you very much, François. Thank you for sharing. We will conclude the service now with a third song, also chosen by François. So the tech team is now going to put it on, I believe. Thank you.
Sereinement vivre les hauts et les bas. Ne croire qu'en l'unique loi, voulant que ce que l'on attire est parfait pour soi. Même si la nuit tombe, le vent tourne au bruit de ton cœur qui bat. Peu importe l'arrivée, peu importe le chemin à suivre. N'empêchera pas de rire aux éclats. On ne cherche pas le bonheur, c'est parce qu'on se dit tout le temps qu'on y est déjà. Et si la nuit tombe, le vent tourne au dire de ton cœur qui bat. Peu importe l'arrivée, peu importe le chemin à suivre. Qu'on a pu nous dire ce qui